I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsor, RX Smart Gear. Dave and his team have developed the perfect jump rope to counter common performance miscues, which in turn enhance the learning experience. They have an ergonomic grip and a swivel connection for better accuracy, and the resistance levels have helped with better timing. And the custom sizes promote proper form and technique. It's built durable to stand up to the rigors of intense workouts, and it was in fact prescribed to help you get better. That's how the RX Smart Gear jump rope was born. Dave Newman and his team have been a great partner for us in the podcast, and we appreciate him so much for all of his support. So don't forget to use the Clydesdale 15 discount code at checkout and get 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. And don't forget that that excludes new releases and special editions.
We are so excited to now have Mobility Movement as a partner. Their holistic approach to recovery is second to none. This is not just a program that helps with your flexibility and mobility, it also assists with stress release and sleep, two key factors in overall recovery. The website gives you a plan for each week, saves your favorites, gives you sleep protocols, has a specific protocol for your first week joining, and then there are these new things called open snacks, which are super cool. Here you are given quick warm-ups and cool-down protocols for the open WODs, featuring elite athletes Allison Scudds and Saxon Panchik. And who doesn't need recovery after those open workouts? The extensive library available to you is both vast and diverse. If you want to try Mobility Movement, go to mobilitymovement.com. That is mobilitymvmnt.com. And make sure you use our code Clydesdale20, all caps, to get 20% off your first 6 months. That's mobilitymovement.com, mobilitymvmnt.com. Use code Clydesdale20 to get 20% off your first 6 months. I've been using this since the first of the year, and I am sleeping better than I have in so many years. And with all the back issues I've had over the last 5 years, this has given me so much relief, and I'm able to work out 4 to 5 times a week without any pain at all. So go to mobilitymovement.com. That's mobilitymovment.com and use Clydesdale20 to get 20% off your first 6-month subscription. Hey everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am your host. I am the Clydesdale. We like to do fitness, and these are my friends. So today I've got Colten Mertens and Ali Zierke. Zierke?
Yeah.
Zierke. So at what stage of your relationship are you right now?
Oh, right now we're still dating, but we've been together for, I guess, coming up on 3 years now. So yeah, pretty serious. We met at the gym in Cedar Falls at CrossFit Kilo just a little over 3 years ago, and yeah, I've been together since then.
So is the pressure mounting, Colten, for you to step up your game here?
Yeah, it seems like it. A lot of people ask me that quite a bit. I just don't want to deal with the whole wedding thing while we're in the thick of training right now, I guess. Is the reason. But yeah, I mean, she's moved in with me and everything, and we're building a house later this summer. So I mean, pretty much as official as it gets, without a ring, I suppose.
So is that an acceptable excuse, Ali?
I'll give it to him. You know, we've got a few things we want to achieve before we go through with the wedding. Maybe a place to live on our own first. So yeah, I'll give it to him.
All right. Well, if you guys don't know who this is, Colten was a CrossFit Games competitor on a team with CrossFit. I think it was Kilo back in the day, right?
Yep, CrossFit Kilo out of Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Yeah, and then last year you were an individual competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Ali is now a team member at CrossFit Kilo.
Kilo 2, yeah.
Kilo 2. Is it a different location?
Yeah, Kilo 2 is about an hour and a half south of the original Kilo. So.
Okay. And that's located in what city?
Iowa City.
Iowa City. Okay. So I actually, not being from there, thought that it was the second team
Oh,
of
yeah, that would
Kilo.
make sense.
So
Yep.
I was on the leaderboard looking to see where Kilo 1 was. And I was like, ooh, Kilo 2 did better than Kilo 1. But I thought it was like an A team and a B team. But really, you're the A team at a different location. That makes way more sense now.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Okay.
since she moved down here with me, she's too far away from Kilo Sierra Falls to be on a team with them now, with new team requirements and all that stuff. So yeah, Kilo 2 was looking to put a team together, and then once I moved down here, she was within that distance requirement, and it was close enough that she can drive there and train the required amount and all that stuff. And we're friends with a lot of people there, so it was a good fit. And yeah, they've been training hard ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to have worked out that you get to be on a team there instead of the original Kilo,
Yeah.
because you're doing awesome this year.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised.
So I want to recap a little bit of Colten, and then I want to get into Allie's journey to where you are in your fitness today. So we had Colten on. He was our first ever guest, not our first ever guest. We were your first ever podcast, and now you're like blowing up. You're like Sevon's friend now, and you're on these big episodes, and Wad Zombie is making stickers of you. You have your own website now with merch.
Yeah, got a lot of things going on. It's stay busy. Both inside of training and out. Just kind of always looking for things to do. Looking for ways also to make money to support my training, buy new gym equipment, and we're building a gym and a home this summer. So trying to find things to progress financially, and just really staying busy, looking for opportunities, and always just kind of working. If I'm not training, then I'm finding something else to work on, whether it's recovery work or building the website and creating the shirts with Allie, or Wad Zombie. He kind of took that kind of upon himself to make the stickers, and he's been supporting athletes with that, and he's got some other cool things in the works right now that I think he's going to be releasing soon, and yeah, he's got some cool stuff.
So last year was your first trip to the games. I talked to you on Sunday. We actually recorded an episode for Morning Chalk Up when I was working for them, and it got lost. Lost somewhere in one of the data drives. It wasn't the best day to talk to you, but I thought I got some really cool answers to some of the questions, because you were still, I think, in that like process of I can't believe it's over.
Yeah, I mean, definitely going through a lot of emotions that day, especially since I stuck around, stayed at the on campus there at the games and watched the events, and just wanting to be out there, and not having time to kind of process and sit down and think about things totally yet. It was so just in that phase of disappointment and replaying things from the weekend, and kind of already starting the game plan and figure out the training plan and things we're going to change for this upcoming season. But yeah, I mean, we got our dog over here. He's about to knock over the tripod stand. Yeah.
We love dogs on this show. You said something that day that really stuck with me, and I thought was a really good, honest answer to what was going on, and that is that you had trained so hard on the elements to get you to the games that it didn't leave time to train for the elements at the games.
Yeah, a lot of those kind of movements and workouts you really only see at the games. I think of things like swimming, things like the pig flip, a lot of odd object stuff and things like that. I really, in my mind, couldn't justify training those when I still had these holes to fill in my game, because I thought, it doesn't matter how good I get at swimming, how good I get at the odd object stuff. If I don't get better at things like rowing, wall balls, rope climb, stuff like that, then it's not gonna matter, because I'm not gonna make it to the games then. So yeah, just really was focusing on that stuff, and still am focusing on it. And I've saw major improvements last season, and equal or greater improvements again this season. Really happy with how things have been progressing, especially like rowing. you know, just looking at the quarterfinals last season, my worst finish was the event 5, the snatches and the burpee box jump overs. And this year we had a very similar workout for event 5, and it was it started with a sprint on the rower and then both the same movements, and it went from being my worst event to a top 100 finish in the quarterfinals. So I was really happy with that, and just continuing to progress on those things, and also been doing a lot of swimming, seeing a lot of progress with that, and those kinds of things.
So was Wadapalooza a good test for you with that stuff? They had the assault rower, which is very different than a C2 rower. And then you had this, went right into a swim. Like that is your two Achilles heels right back to back. How did you feel at Wadapalooza about that?
Yeah, that's one of those events that a lot of times when things like if we have a rowing workout, sometimes there'll be, maybe it's paired with handstand push-ups, or maybe we've got running and maybe it's paired with some burpees or something that I can kind of offset that weak movement for me. But this was, a long row into a swim into a run. So there really wasn't anywhere for me to hide from those movements. There wasn't anywhere for me to, make up ground on a movement I'm have been good at in the past. But I think I was last coming off the rower, but I wasn't like way behind the middle of the pack. I got to the water about the same time as some other athletes, and then I passed, I think, a dozen or so athletes on a 250-meter swim, which I was pretty proud of. It's not a huge distance to swim, and I was able to pass a good number of people. And then on the run, I think I came into it in 25th, and I ended it in 25th. So I held my ground there. So I saw movements in all 3 areas, or improvements in all 3 areas there, and this has been proving to me that my training's been paying off, and our training plan is effective and it's good, and it's got to keep on hitting those things, and eventually I'll get over the hump, and hoping to hopefully see that at Granite Games here in about a month.
That'd be great. I was at Wadapalooza, so I got to watch that up close and personal, and I just love that event. Is that it's a good test for you kind of going into the season to let you see where your training is. So how much do you debrief on what happened at Wadapalooza going into the season?
Yeah, we definitely look at every event, and kind of how I go about it is, I think, what is my limiting factor on this event, that event, and you break it down per movement. Like if this movement was slow, why was it slow? Was it, you kind of think about, for example, the final event, the total bar devil's press workout that they had, 55 reps of each. And, what slowed me down in that workout was obviously the devil's press. And looking at it, I think it's more, it was grip, and it was low back fatigue and tightness. So going from there, we started targeting those areas heading into the season, doing a lot of grip training, doing some low back training, taking care of things like that. Just keep on making improvements. And that swim event really validated my swim training. I showed that I got a lot better. The swim event at the games, I think after the 1 mile swim, I was maybe second to last, or maybe third to last, something like that. And then, going from that to passing a dozen people in the water on a shorter swim. So that was really paying off, and the run training's been paying off. Rowing's been paying off. It's been, just you go kind of event by event, you look at the movements and you think, okay, how has it progressed, and do I need to change things?
So what do you do for coaching? Do you coach yourself, or do you use the coaches at Kilo?
I kind of have a hodgepodge of just stuff that I do. So Armin from CrossFit Kilo programs, and I do all that strength training. I do a lot of those workouts, and then Luke Schaefer runs the Kilo training programming. I'll take workouts from there. And sometimes if I'm just scrolling through and see a workout that looks good, I'll do that. And I also do I do a lot of running and rowing intervals right now as well. And those are kind of programmed usually by me, or I go off like a specific running program. So just kind of taking things from a lot of different places, because me just doing like a general program isn't going to be conducive to my goals. I need to really focus on like the cardio type stuff, the machines, the running, and they hit the volume for work that I need to do for those things. I kind of had to take programming into my own hands a little bit because there's not another program out there that's going to program rowing 5 days a week, So that's something I kind of had to adjust and do on my own. But yeah, it's kind of a whole team that I'm using to work on these weaknesses and put my programming together.
That makes a lot of sense. So I kind of want to shift gears to Allie. So you are the better half of this couple, and
Thank you.
how did your journey in fitness start?
I started at the end of my freshman year of college. I played sports all through all my life and kind of stopped playing when I started college. And then I kind of realized I missed just even the physical activity portion of it. I kind of stopped doing that for a little while, and I started to kind of miss just getting up and moving around each day. So I looked for CrossFit because I had seen it on Instagram through other people's pages. I had no idea who Colten was at the time, so didn't really see it from him, but I knew there was a gym in town that I wanted to try. And then when I started it, I loved that there was a competitive aspect. It kind of brought back that sport that I was missing, and just fell in love with it from there.
So what sports did you do growing up?
When I was younger, I played pretty much everything. I tried basketball, I tried softball, soccer. Took swim lessons, so did some type of swimming. And then in high school, I started cross country in 9th grade and stuck with soccer. So those are my two main sports.
Are you a better swimmer than Colten?
I'd like to say yes.
The last time we raced, I did win.
I dropped some water that day, so.
And I'm up 2-1 on our 5Ks from like the official 5K races we've done, like in Cedar Falls or whatever for different events, and I'm up 2-1 on that right now.
But I beat him at a CrossFit workout. I think that's even better.
So there's no competitiveness between the two of you?
Oh, not at all.
So you started at CrossFit. You were in the same college as Colten, correct?
Yep, he's a year older than me. So I started my freshman year. He would have been a sophomore at UNI in Cedar Falls. So.
And then when did you guys meet? From the time you started, how long was it before you met?
I'd say it's probably a year and a half-ish. I started in May of 2018. That's the year that he went to the games, and then we met in July. So about a year, July of 2019 is kind of when we started dating. So about a year.
And where did he take you on your first date?
Actually, our first kind of not really official date, but like our first time hanging out in person was the Kilo golf outing for our gym. So we went golfing all day and then hung out at the gym afterwards for the after party. So.
Yeah, the gym has been a big part in creating our relationship. He's like the whole Kilo community.
Yeah.
So, Allie, are you the kind of person that likes the active dates where you're out there doing something, or more the just, hey, chilling, watching a movie?
Honestly, I am very easygoing. I just enjoy spending time with him. So anytime we can get, because we kind of have opposite schedules here and there with my job and his job. So anytime we can get, I'll take it. Whether it's sometimes we get to work out together, that's super fun. Other times we get to spend time in the evening eating dinner and watching a movie at the foot of our bed. So just anytime, because right now we're both very busy. So it's hard to plan something, I guess.
How romantic is he?
He's pretty good. Most people probably wouldn't think so, but he's a lot better. He's a lot more talkative to me and stuff. So.
So when did you get the competitive itch to do something more than just class workouts?
I'd say it took about a year for me to kind of get more consistent with CrossFit. I'd say when I started to date him, I started to get to see the other side of it, not just the daily fitness side, because obviously I had to help film for his competitions. I'd go places with him to different local competitions here and there. And I just kind of started to realize it might be something I wanted to try. I knew I had kind of an endurance background, but I figured if I worked hard enough, I could get some of that sprint power output stuff in me. And so far it's progressing well, I'd say. But I'd say about 6 months into us dating, I really started to focus more on training and kind of the outside of the gym stuff too, focusing on nutrition and recovery and stuff. So.
And so when did you do like your first local comp?
That would have been
At the circus.
the circus in September of 2018, but that was I was scaled athlete at the time. Didn't really focus on my training at all. The Armin actually was like, "You're going on a team." So he put a team together of a couple of us girls that had just kind of started, just to get our foot in the door. And I think that's when my focus started to kind of shift towards, maybe this is something that I'd want to do, at least participate in more local competitions and eventually get to a higher level, even just in the local ones like trying RX or intermediate. So yeah, it was in the circus of 2019, September, I think.
Scaled for life, right here, scaled.
And I mean, that's fine too. It's just, it was a perfect competition to get my foot in the door. And I knew that I wanted to learn how to do some of those other movements. So it kind of made me push myself a little bit harder, even just during class times, because I still wasn't doing anything outside of class really.
Yeah, the only RX workout I'll ever do now is CrossFit Total.
Hey, that's a good one.
So you start doing local comps, and then where do you get the confidence that you can be like on an elite team?
Actually, I was at the Kilo 2 competition, was it in October this past year? And the coach there, the owner there, they had been watching me and they just kind of asked if I wanted to. They knew I was moving closer, so they asked if I wanted to join their team. And I signed up for the Open my first time in 2019, I guess it would, or 2021 was the first time I actually signed up for it. Would have been last year, and did the movements all RX, and I was happy with how I placed. So I was like, maybe I'll give it a go this year. I've been training a lot harder. I've been living with Colten, so it's hard to get less fit. And so I was like, sure, I'll try it. I mean, it's a team, so I feel like I have a little bit more confidence because it's not all riding on me, but I also want to push myself that much harder to not let anybody down. But I felt like it was the perfect opportunity to see what a little bit higher level competition felt like without just completely committing my whole life to it right away. So
yeah, it's been really neat to see her progress since she's kind of started taking things more seriously, and she's gotten better pretty quick. I mean, she's made a lot of really good improvements. Her general engine's really good, her capacity's good, her strength's been getting a lot better, and she doesn't have a ton of weaknesses other than it's mainly things that we just have a hard time training here at home. I can't stand wild string muscle ups. A little bit harder to train here in the garage, but she's been getting a lot better at those, especially since starting to train at Kilo 2.
Yeah, since season started, I've had a good opportunity to get those things practiced. So.
Well, it's funny because when I first met you in person at Granite Games, I thought you were an athlete.
Nope.
Well, you are now.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so you join the team. I have so many questions in my head. I'm just trying to sort it all out. So you join the team, and how does that initially go? Now you're doing stuff like, and I know like the Kilo group are known as like having these training camps for teams, because one of the partners on our podcast network is Taylor Stride.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
talks about coming up to the camp with you and working there. What was it like when you first start doing those team type workouts, like worm, synchros? How did that feel when you first got into that?
I had gotten a chance to like do some of those synchro and worm movements at some of the local comps. Like Kilo in Cedar Falls, they host a competition that has a lot of those movements. So I'd gotten the opportunity to do it with groups of 3 people before. But obviously adding another person makes another person that you have to be in sync with and get the timing down with. I'd say the first couple weeks of worm work, that worm threw me around pretty well. But we're getting there. It just took a little bit of extra time to learn that it's not like lifting a barbell. You're not going to be in the same kind of positions at different points in your pull, and you have to pay more attention to the people around you, because even if you want to move at a certain pace, they're going to move at a certain pace, and you guys have to kind of match. And then synchro movement, same thing. It's just a little bit of a learning curve, having to either speed your reps up or slow it down or figure out the perfect timing that everybody's going to be moving. And it might not be what you're used to, but you have to make it work because obviously you have to sync them up in order for them to count. So just a little bit of a learning curve, going from trying to learn the movements and then trying to sync them with other people.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to Brandon Swan, and he was talking about when they did a team, and this was before it was back to the affiliate cup. So they had the super teams, that they would record a metronome like ticking. And then every athlete on the team that's what they would work out to, so that everybody would know the same pace. And they did that in like 3 different speeds. And then that's how they would communicate with each other when they couldn't work out together. Like practice at fast, practice at medium, practice at slow. And that's how they did it. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have seen it on some Olympic lifters pages before. I've never tried it for a CrossFit workout, or like any gymnastics or anything, but I've definitely seen that kind of strategy practice for Olympic lifting, even just focusing on tempo technique, using it for counts up and counts down and stuff like that for barbell lifting.
So your team did really well. I have here that they were 19th in North America.
Yep.
And they take the top 60?
I think we were
80.
30th in the, or take the top 80, yes, in North America, sorry, yes.
Yeah, they take the top 80 for semis, and you were 32nd in the world.
32nd. Yeah.
And so do you know if the team leaderboard we're talking, it's April 22nd, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know today if the leaderboard is final?
Yeah, they came out with that, I think, last maybe Saturday or Sunday. We got word on their Twitter, at least, that it was finalized. Today, we're actually supposed to find out where we go. So this afternoon, hopefully, we'll know which semifinal we're going to.
So are you hoping for Granite or another location so that you can support each other?
We're really hoping for Granite Games. It'd be nice because, obviously, there's a ton of people that we know from both gyms that would probably want to go support, and it'd be easiest for them to get up there. But then also, we're all in one spot, so we can kind of get everybody crowd together and get a nice little cheering section. It'd just be fun for the gyms also to be able to send some people to watch and stuff. So, and it's closer to us, and he's going there, so I think it'd be awesome to get to compete at the same competition at that level with him. So
yeah, it'd be a little bit like the old regionals days in terms of like, you got some kilo individuals and a kilo team going there, and then get a bunch of people from the gym to come and support and hang out. And remember in 2018 we had 2 individuals and 2 teams, and that was just a ton of fun and a great experience. So yeah, really hoping that she gets to go to Granite Games, and really as long as they go anywhere except for Atlas, I think he'll be okay with that.
Save some money on travel too, and
Yeah.
places to stay and stuff. So
Okay, so I got to ask, what's the name of the dog?
his name is Dudley.
Dudley.
Yes.
And he's a
bulldog. You get an American bulldog.
nice,
Yeah.
perfect gym dog.
Yeah, he's got like separation anxiety. He's never too far away.
Yeah, likes to be nice and close to you.
Yeah, we love dogs on this show. We all have them, and we love to highlight them whenever we can. So now that you're both trying to make the games and you're both competing, how does living together help with the nutrition and the sleep when you and your partner are both trying to achieve the same goal?
Yeah, it definitely helps when your goals are aligned. So you don't have, one person who wants to go out on a Friday or Saturday, another person, needs to stay home and sleep, or, neither one of us are like wanting to stay up late watching Netflix. We're both disciplined about going to work, training, recovering, getting our dinner in, and then getting to bed. So it's a little bit easier when both of us are, have the same things we want to accomplish, but there's other parts of it that make it more difficult, like or just finding time to get groceries or meal prep when both of us are training. Like a lot of times when one partner are training for the games, then the other one will kind of take those duties. But we both kind of have to share that load still, and it can be hard at times. Just we're both just so busy with work and training and all the things that we do. It, but just have to stay disciplined with your time and keep on working all throughout the day and get everything done.
I think also right now we both realize that this is the time to put our heads down and go, and so we're not really worrying about oh, are we able to go out to dinner this night, or hey, we haven't been able to go see a bunch of friends or something. So I think we're both just focused on trying to get to that next level, that it's a mutual agreement that we don't really need to do all that stuff right now. We can just focus on this, and then when we get the time, we'll get the time. But it's just kind of we both have that goal so high right now. So
Yeah, my best friends are my gym friends anyway. So
yeah,
you see them all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So it's sorry. I really have so many questions. They're floating through my mind like crazy. So the games are coming up. What is the goal for the team? At 19, you have a realistic shot at making the games.
Yeah, we do. I think as a team, our goal is obviously to go to the games. We're training as hard as we possibly can to be in that top 5 at whatever semifinal we get sent to. I know personally I have some weaknesses that I have got to work on, and it's not an option, and I have been working on them, but I'd say that I would like to just not, let that down. I don't want to get to a competition and have a movement that just plays with me mentally or physically. I mean, either way, even if I know I can do it, I just don't want it to be something that I question at all, because then I'll hesitate, starting or being confident going at the pace we're going at. So I know I've got to dial in on those weaknesses, and I think that if I can do that, and if we can all just kind of continue to train as hard as we have been and push each other, I think we'll achieve it just fine.
So from a mindset point of view, I find when I do team competitions that I push outside my comfort zone all the time. And as an individual athlete, that's one of the hardest things to do, is to push past that pain threshold or whatever it is. Do you feel going on the team is making you a better athlete?
Oh, for sure, 100%. There's just something you have people right next to you that are ready to pick up the next implement or ready to go on to the next movement. And so you're like, hey, I have no option. We've got to go. But individually, you can be like, okay, that dumbbell's still going to be there in 5 seconds if I step back and take a breath. Or that pull-up bar is still going to be there. So, yeah, as a team, it's just hey, these guys are ready to go. So you've got to get your hands on that worm and you've got to pick it up because they're ready and they're waiting. So it definitely pushes me outside my comfort zone. And then I've noticed when I've done individual workouts by myself, I've been able to kind of find that place a little bit easier than I used to. I used to, all right, let's step back. You can breathe for a second. Nobody's here telling me to keep going. You can breathe for a second. But yeah, the team I feel has made me fitter with a team, but also individually when I've had training, had workouts to do without synchronization, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I've found the only time I ever throw up after a workout is when I go team.
It's been pretty close a few times, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a spot out behind the gym that I ran to. It was my little spot, but yeah, and I had a teammate. She's a co-host of mine on here usually. That she'd be one of those people. Hey, let's do all the workouts in one day. And then after throwing up 3 times, I'm like, okay, can we finish now? But. And that brings me to you, Colten. You were a very high level wrestler as well. And way back in the early days of this podcast, we had Chris Spieler on, and he talked about how being a wrestler allows you to learn how to embrace pain because you're in positions that are not comfortable. How does that translate for you being a high level wrestler to now being a CrossFitter? Can you embrace that, or not necessarily embrace it, but be comfortable in it?
Yeah, in wrestling, it's a unique thing about the sport is that wrestlers kind of it's like they take pride in being the most miserable person in the room, like through their weight cuts or through their training. I mean, like uh, in high school when I was competing, I get up really early. I'd prep my food for the day, head to the gym, do strength and conditioning, go to school all day, and then go to your 2 hour practice after that, and then come home, do your homework, eat what little bit you could, then just go straight off to bed. And it's a lot of kind of struggle and a lot of I don't know misery, but wrestlers take a lot of pride in that. Just kind of a cultural thing within that community, and that translates really well to CrossFit because you're going on like day 4 of a really hard training period or whatever, 4 days straight, and you're tired, you're sore, and you're not motivated, and you have a bunch of workouts to do that day, and you have to hit them with intensity. But being able to shift your mindset from rather than feeling sorry for yourself, kind of embracing that and finding strength in it. One of the things I found when weight cutting is that if you once you start to feel sorry for yourself, things go downhill really quickly. So you can't adopt that mindset, and you just have to find a way to get it done. And yeah, you really do have to embrace the suck. It's something that people say a lot, but wrestlers are usually pretty good at it, and it can definitely help you go a long way in this sport.
And Allie, you ran cross country.
Yep.
So as an endurance athlete, there's always a point you have to push through during that run.
Hmm.
And what I find as a runner, like you have nothing else to think about except for what you're doing in that moment. Like when you're playing soccer, there's action going on the field that kind of distracts you from whatever you're in. But when you're running, it's just you and your feet.
Hmm.
Do you think that helps you during CrossFit?
I'd say to an extent, it helps me. I at least am able to kind of continue that steady pace. I think that mentally, it helps me, yeah, push to that next movement a little bit quicker. I think that in cross country, you kind of find that point where you could settle in a little bit, and in CrossFit, I find it's a little bit harder to do that. You kind of just have to keep going. Whereas cross country, it's like you run fast for the beginning of it, and then you find that pace to settle in for a majority of the race before you obviously have to sprint the end. But in CrossFit, it's like you're probably not going to settle in too well. You're just going to kind of keep moving. But I definitely think that cross country helped me to learn to keep moving. I just have to learn to do it at a little bit faster pace now.
Yeah, I think something that Allie's gotten a lot better at since training with the team is definitely pacing. A lot of workouts before that, she would kind of go out really fast and then wait till she gets tired and
That's
then
that's
just
what
kind
I'm
of try and
talking
hang on
about.
for most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely gotten better at going out and saying, okay, this is a pace that I can probably maintain. It's a hard pace, but I think I can maintain it for the entire workout and then, hammering down at the end rather than, coming out really hot and then just trying to hang on.
Yeah. Definitely used to go out way too hot and then almost not even be able to finish the workout. Or if it was, I was doing a lot of standing around. So something I had to kind of reverse the gears a little bit and learn how to go at a pace that fresh might not feel as bad, but knowing that 15 minutes into the workout, it's gonna get rough and you're gonna be able to still hold on to it.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out at all. And I'll tell myself before I start a workout, like, do not go out hot. And then the the 3, 2, 1 happens, and I don't know where that went, but it just leaves me.
Yeah, it's automatic response. Just go.
So you talked about having very busy days and that you're both working. So Colton, are you still working on the farm?
Yeah, still working on the farm, taking care of the pigs, starting to get into some grain stuff right now as we enter planting season. um, yeah, we're working on a project right now, building something for the gym. It'll be pretty cool once we get it done. I feel like I have some inside information and decided I needed a new pieces of equipment to prepare it. So that's in the works right now. It's been taking up a few hours each day, but it's almost done. So after that, I'll get back in a little more, a little bit better sleep schedule. Um, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
did I see an arc welder?
yeah, I've been doing some welding, getting something put together right now. It's almost done.
Awesome. And Allie, what do you do for a living?
I've worked at Hy-Vee since I was 16. Stuck with that job, so I'm full-time manager there, and it's it's not super hard, but it's something to do, and it definitely takes up some time. So finding time to train. Sometimes I work mornings, sometimes I work evenings. Right now I'm on the evening stretch, so driving up to Iowa City in the mornings, and then vice versa. If I work mornings, I'll drive up there in the afternoon. So just trying to fit that in with kind of these crazy hours that I get to do. It's been a learning curve, but we're getting there. No different than schooling. So
Right. So are there any aspirations to go individual once you put in your time with the team?
right now, no, I'm enjoying it. I guess the only thing would be if next year there wasn't an opportunity to be on the team, then if I wanted to continue to compete, I'd have to go individual, obviously. But right now, I enjoy the team aspect so much, and I feel like I am growing so much from it because they're pushing me outside my comfort zone. And it's helping me build confidence in movements and in myself that I haven't had before. I used to kind of talk myself out of lift or talk myself out of, trying to hit this set on a movement rather than breaking it up and stuff like that. So right now, I'm pretty happy where I am, and I feel like it's just helping me get a lot better, a lot quicker than if I were to try to go on my own, just because I've always been in team sports. So like internal motivation is a lot less there than it is with Colten. So I feel like team's perfect.
Has there ever been a married couple that both qualified for the games? I'm sorry, Colton. Dating couple that ever qualified for the games?
I think Lauren Fisher and maybe her.
Yeah, I think it's the reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I bet there might have been, but
Yeah, Rasmus
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but Rasmus, were they team? Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were on a team by the time they were dating.
Yeah, they might have been. Yeah, our gym owners from Cedar Falls, they've been on a team for several years. Armin and Sarah.
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Dex Hopkins and his wife Marilyn made the games in 17, I think, on a team together. But I don't know of any like both two individuals. And maybe it's that the demand to make the games can only go to one or the other.
Yeah, it is definitely hard. Just because we are so busy. We really don't have any free time, and then it also takes a certain individual to be in a relationship like that. They can't be, I guess, high maintenance, or they're just not going to work out. Like with my schedule, like I don't have time to go out to eat all the time, or go out all the time for dates and stuff like that. But Allie's been very understanding of that from the beginning, and now she doesn't have time to do that either.
Yeah.
So works out for me as well.
I'd say that was the biggest learning curve, going from being kind of his like assistant, or like just helping him, help him film videos, help him pack for competitions out of town, and being like his assistant in that way, or like kind of like managing a little bit, to going, now I'm not able to help as much with it because I've got a lot of training to do as well. So it's kind of been a learning curve there, just because I don't want to put more stress on him for his season either. So we've both definitely had to step into some new shoes recently, but it's been good. I think we've handled it pretty well. So
Yeah, you look at someone like Matt Fraser, who talks about all the things that Sammy did for him. Like, to do all that, there's no way Sammy could compete.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely had a good team around him to help him with a lot of stuff. Not a lot of people have those opportunities.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys have a great gym that supports you.
Yeah.
With Kilo and Kilo 2. You're lucky to have that. Not every place has that to support their athletes.
Yeah, they're definitely a big help. They've always been there for us, and everybody from the owners to the coaches, Armin, Sarah, Travis, Megan, Kate, everyone from Kilo and now Kilo 2, as I'm getting more into that community as well. And yeah, they definitely always have been there for us. even from like fundraising to help pay for semis and games and stuff like that. Yeah, they've helped a lot there. And I remember like it was either my first or second summer coming back home from school while I was going to school in Cedar Falls. I think Armin gave me a rower to use for that summer. Otherwise, I didn't have any cardio equipment to use. So they've always been there to help me with all kinds of stuff like that.
That's great. So you're headed to Granite this year, back to the scene of the crime,
Yep.
where you qualified last year. Last year you took 5th.
Mhm.
Do you have any goals to finish higher than that, or are you just good with top 5?
No, I want to win. I want to win. I want to do well in every event, and there's I don't know 8 guys there that have qualified for games before, so it's a pretty good field. Um, there's maybe not as much depth outside of that. Um, you can look at that and you look at that 2 different ways. You can look at it and say, you really got to be top 10 in pretty much every event and have some good ones to qualify, and you can't really have any holes in your game because those other 7 guys are going to be really consistent. There's probably not going to be many events where they get beat by a lot of other athletes. So if you have a poor event, that's really gonna hurt you. So obviously, I don't plan to have any 20th or 18th like I did last year. You can also look at it like, it's I've really just got to stay. It's gonna be a little bit easier maybe to stay in the top 10 in each event because there's not as much depth maybe as there was last year outside of those top 8, to where maybe you have a little bit an event that's maybe a little bit of a weakness. Maybe you can sneak in 9th, 10th, or 11th, and then hammer the ones that you're good at. And that's what I plan to do. And if my weaknesses are still at the point to where I have a 20th place finish, whatever, and keeps me out of the games, then I don't deserve to go, and it's just what it is.
So that's a very blunt way to put it. The other thing I would say is I think Granite Games of all the semis last year was the biggest surprise of people that nobody had heard of that performed at a very high level. And I think that people need to be careful because with COVID, there are people that haven't been able to work out in gyms for a couple of years. And you're going to see people that you never knew their names before pop up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I guess the 2 that come to mind right away are like Taylor, Self, and me. Last year, I think we were pretty unknown before the season started, but
Well, we knew you,
yeah,
but
yeah, and I was 5th, and Taylor was 7th, and Taylor's made a lot of improvements as well. I think he's going to one of the events in Knoxville, and he's got a good shot to qualify there. And then Granite Games also got a lot of those big names as well this year with Fikowski and Chandler and CM Quant, Travis Mayer, and Tim Paulson, all some really good guys. You got some other up and comers, Phil Toon, and you got Marquand Jones been to games 2018, so it'll be a good field. And also, like you said, there's probably some guys there that we don't know that well. They'll do well.
yeah, last year on the women's side, Ariel Lowen wins the Granite Games.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who she was, and finishes 14th at the games.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Definitely nobody saw that coming, even Ariel, I think.
No, Caroline Connors came out of the Granite Games. And it's such a beautiful event. Like, it is such a cool place to have a CrossFit event, totally outdoors in a beautiful stadium. I can't wait to go back. I'll be there this year to cheer you on. But before we say goodbye, I want to talk about your shirts. The Mertens Mafia.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's the Farm Raised and Kilo Trained.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get those at coltenmertens.com.
Yep. Ali did all the designs for those, and then I did the website, and got together with a print-on-demand company. So now it's pretty hands-off for us. But yeah, they're good quality. They're good shirts, and I think people have been enjoying them. And yeah, we got the Mertens Mafia, Farm Raised Kilo Trained, and the Never Lay Down one. I think some people are a little bit scared to buy the Never Lay Down one because then they can't lay down after workouts when they're wearing that. I've heard that a few times, but
Yeah, and you even have Clydesdale sizes.
we got all sizes. We try to put it on a bunch of different colors, and we've got tri-blend and
And regular.
I guess in regular, just in the, some people like the tri-blend, some people like the regular, and then it also gives us a lot more color options and different things like that. So then, people just kind of can pick and choose whatever they like best.
So I want to finish up with, we partnered with Fantasy Fitnessing. They are part of our podcast network now. And they have a database of every event finish from every competition from 2016 forward. So they run numbers for us. And I like to just throw some numbers out to see if you, as the athlete, knew this about yourself. So first, did you know you're one of 5 guys to have a top 10 finish in the Open over the last 5 years?
No, I guess I didn't look at it that closely, but yeah, I usually do pretty well in the final week when we get some thrusters and chest to bars in there.
Yeah, so yeah, you've had a top 10 finish in all of the last 5 years, and only 5 people have ever done that.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't know that.
And then you have 6 event wins at major competitions. Do you know what they are?
A lot of handstand push-ups. It's probably almost all involve handstand push-ups. Yeah, thrusters, handstand push-ups are usually been pretty good, and I know I had a couple at Rogue when they went online that year.
So yeah, you had 2 at Rogue, event 1 and event 7, 19 Granite Games, the bear press.
Yeah, sandbag squats, sandbag carry, and I think strict handstand push-ups is that one.
21 Granite Games, thruster run 2.0. 21 Granite Games, so close but so far away.
Yep, that was with the torque sled.
And the 22 Wadapalooza Celebrate 10.
Yeah, we're squatting and handstand push-ups usually pretty good.
Yeah. So what are you hoping to see at Granite Games?
Well, obviously, I hope we get some handstand push-ups in there. hope we get some squatting in there. Looking at their website, I was going through their website I was trying to find their past workouts, just to do some of them because they tend to do a good bit of repeats, like the thruster run, obviously, and I feel like it's pretty common that they repeat at least one workout. They don't usually do the exact same thing, but it's usually just slightly different. Like I think the thruster run before that was with a barbell and then on an air runner. Yeah, they do have some tendencies. And I was scrolling through there. I was looking at came across their sponsors, and I saw that Flip Sled is sponsoring them. So I'm expecting, I don't know if we're going to do a push because I know you can put the skis on there and push it. But yeah, they had that at Wadapalooza, and obviously the same company, Loud and Live, puts on Wadapalooza as Granite Games. So I'm expecting to see something with that there. I'm expecting we'll see a long event because they caught a lot of flack for not having something really long last year. And then yeah, I hope for some handstand push-ups, some burpees, some squatting. I hope we squat a lot. That'd be fun. I wouldn't mind another heavy snatch. I feel like I've gotten so much stronger on that lift. Yeah, I think I'll be ready for whatever it is. I wouldn't mind just a complete redo of last year, just to see how things go on like that wall ball event. I really want to redo. I hope they do a version of that one again in the future, just to see how that goes. And also, obviously, the last event I got 12th on, so that's something I would like to do again and get better at. Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty balanced program. They usually lean a little bit more towards the power output sometimes, but we'll see. I'm excited for whatever they bring.
What do you think the impact of CrossFit programming 2 of the events is?
I wish they'd program all of them actually, because I mean, whether people want to admit it or not, certain events have programming biases. You can see it in the MAC, you can see it in Granite Games, Wadapalooza, whatever. I mean, there's always programming biases. I feel like it exaggerates a little bit more when you have these different semis, and I feel like they kind of get to where they want to one up each other. Like, oh, we've got the hardest workouts, we've got the heaviest workouts. And I feel like if CrossFit just kind of went and programmed the whole thing, then you wouldn't see as much of that. And I think the season is meant to be laid out to where they have a vision for each stage. But I'm glad the CrossFit's programming a couple of them. But also it's going to kind of suck because those are probably going to come out. I don't know, maybe they might come out a week before week 1 and I'm week 3, so I'm going to have to practice them for 4 weeks, which that's never fun. But yeah, I do, and I'm glad that CrossFit's leaning towards getting more involved with it.
Well, I want to thank you guys for jumping on with me. Allie, hopefully you get Granite Games today.
Yes.
I'd love it if you shot me a DM just to let me know where you end up.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll try to add it to the broadcast when we put this out live.
Okay.
And you guys are awesome. It's so much fun to hang out with you guys for the hour.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It was good to talk to you again.
Yeah, nice to be on.
Yeah, and we'll see you at the semifinals.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.